Here is a diagram of the structure of the twin towers. Both towers are essentially like this. They could be thought of as a building within a building. Notice the core structure and a perimeter structure. This is what it really looked like. That core structure had members like that. This is not little spaghetti strands that are going up the center of the building. This is a very substantial core structure. By pulling the core columns to the center to form this integral interior, they were able to leave a lot of floor space that's usable. That was the attraction of this design. This is a hat truss at the top that ties the tops of the columns together and helps to share the load. And then these are the floors. And then there's floor structures underneath. There are girders under here that, I guess you'd call them trusses under there, that support the floors. These are what the perimeter columns are like. They're 3 stories at a time in these wall units. So this one that's being hauled up over here is 3 stories tall, 14-inch square box columns, about 1 meter apart. And each one of these is about, I think, about 4 tons. They vary depending on how high they were in the building.
This claimed that the upper section of each of the towers crushed the lower section.
The top section, pushing on the bottom section, it's going to meet equal forces as it goes. Both sections are going to be demolished at the same rate. So by the time you've crushed up 15 stories below it, the top 15 stories are also going to be crushed. And so there's nothing left now to crush the rest of the building.
Something of this kind is what we should have seen when the top section of the towers collapsed onto the lower one. The upper and lower sections should have mutually destroyed each other until all the energy is dissipated and the system comes to a rest. What could not have happened is this.
A little tiny chunk of the building can't possibly fall and crush the entire structure below it.
This is high school physics, and our whole society is being led to believe that these fundamental laws of physics, hard science, don't apply anymore.
The area below the damage zone, where the planes flew in and where the fire was, that area below that, those 80 or 90 stories, 80,000 tons of structural steel was not damaged in any way. Yet you stood there and watched it destroy itself, wiping out floor by floor all 287 structural columns as if they didn't exist underneath the damage zone.
You're looking for a jolt, that this thing, if it actually comes down and hits, you should be able to see the point at which they actually impact, because it would actually slow down the motion of the falling block. It never slows down. It accelerates the entire time. And that was what was extremely significant. So I published a paper about that. It's in the Journal of 9/11 Studies. And so if you had the top section acting like a pile driver, if in fact it actually hit and made an impact, it was effectively crushing anything, pushing hard on this core structure below it, the core structure is going to push back equally hard. And that's what's going to cause the top section of the building to slow down. But here you have this block continuing to pick up speed. It's not slowing down, it's speeding up. And the only way that can happen is to say it is not crushing the bottom section of the building. The bottom section is being removed to allow this to fall into oblivion. This is falling into the hole, basically, that's been opened up for it. The rate of fall is not free fall. That's, you might have heard that occasionally. A lot of people talk about how it's free fall or close to free fall. Yeah, it's 2/3 of free fall if you actually measure it. It's falling at 2/3 of the acceleration of gravity. I just put a little reversing thing there. Notice what's really crushing here. Do you notice anything happening at this level?
Fire?
Yeah, but is it moving down the building?
No.
Do you see a block here crushing down this lower block?
Yeah.
All I see is a block here that's basically halfway destroyed already before it has even started to move down the building. But notice the mass coming down, which means the core columns have all been cut or destroyed by some mechanism. And notice that the roof line is horizontal. And notice that this entire thing is collapsing like an accordion. And that's observationally what's going on. So you don't have a block that's going to even survive this initial period here to crush down the rest of the building, even if it could.